Hello everyone, this is Rexer of the YouTube and Twitch channel NotQuiteThereGaming, and this was the not quite epic launching of the USS Grotius G, an Ambassador class refit cruiser. And this will also mark the oh my god, I'm in reverse. This will also mark the beginning of today's STO stream. A lot of things have been done since we left off last time. Not the least of which the procurement of certain modules for the ship and certain kit modules for my own captain as well, which we will be taking a look at. So let's see, first of all, what did I do to outfit my ship? Here are a few starting tips actually. If you're new at STO and you hit level 50, don't blow all your money on gear. You can get some pretty good gear from missions, you can get some pretty good gear from the exchange that isn't that expensive. Now I did invest in a few key things, I felt, and those are the Newtonium alloys, Mark 12, very rare. And I also got a Mark 13, just rare, for this exact same boost. Because they were the same price, and the very rares jumped up in price after the first two that I bought. So I got a Mark 13 rare. I also got a very cheap monotonium alloy Mark 12 for extra kinetic resistance. And as you can see here, we have some pretty good resistances on the hull. Other than that, got the polarized Tetron beam array Mark 11 rare from one of the missions. I believe it is from the Cardassian. Let's see, the New Link mission. It has an alleged 10% chance to proc shield depletion, which is what really attracted me to this particular weapon. The other options that I was thinking of were Boldly They Rode.
Now that we have the aid of one
Thank
of the
you,
founders,
Commander
we should
Achebe,
have
but
no
we don't
trouble
actually need to listen to this right now.
The
Dominion Polaron Beam Array was also a nice choice, with 2.5% power level reduction and 2.5% shield depletion. However, Boldly They Rode is a little bit tough to farm properly, and also I figured I really wanted the 10% shield depletion chance. I don't know if it actually, like, I've read some stuff online that might suggest that the 10% is actually a bug and it's actually just a 2.5% standard proc rate, or even worse than that. But considering, like I said, that Boldly They Rode is a little bit tricky to farm, I just went with this. We'll decide later if we want to switch or not. And to support that, I got some Tetrion Pulse Generators Mark 12. Now these are the things that I spent the most money on, the Newtonium alloys and the Tetrion Pulse Generators, because I wanted to get the most out of what I have. Other than that, we have the Kobali Regenerative set, which is a mission reward from the Dust to Dust mission right now. I don't know if by the time this makes it on YouTube it will still be the case, probably not, sadly. Also got the console, the Regenerative Integrity Field console of the Tier 6 Kobali cruiser, but I'm not going to be flying it because I want to fly an actual Starfleet vessel. And I got the Constriction Anchor console, which I kind of like. It's a lockbox console, I got it off the exchange. And pretty much the last thing that I want to mention is Deuterium Surplus. You can get that from a daily quest, and I think it's almost a must-have for a slow cruiser like this. It's a consumable item, gives you flight speed, turn rate, and defense for a limited amount of time if your evasive maneuvers happens to be on cooldown when you need to be somewhere fast or need to turn somewhere fast. Okay, other than that, a little bit of work on my captain, not much though. Didn't really bother with shields or armor. What I did bother with was weapons. I got some weapons off the exchange. I got a pull-around compression bolt pistol with the knockback mod, because I really like crowd control and crowd control-like abilities. This does decent damage on the ground, single target though. And I got the phaser stun pistol for, again, the crowd control abilities with the run speed debuffs that is associated with. And also because phaser pistols, you know, I'm going to try and stick to the theme a little bit with this character, to the theme of Starfleet. So I have to have a phaser pistol, or else I'm just a dumbass. Who doesn't have a phaser pistol? I mean, seriously, in Starfleet. That's just silly. And lastly, we have a cheapo engineering kit that I bought off the exchange just to accommodate all my slots. It has a turret and drones bonus, because I kind of went heavy in turrets and drones. Definitely not my final kit, but I haven't found any good any kits with good modifiers and the proper slots that I liked, so we're gonna have to stick with this one for now. Also, all the rare ground kit modules, delicious. I managed to get my hands on the ultra rare fleet current on mine barrier, which is going to be so tasty. It does like 370 damage on the ground. Actually, let's no, not yet. I'm gonna show you when we get in the mission. And I got the transphasic bomb off the exchange, very cheap, 1.2k damage on that on the ground. Gonna be using the Vodvar anchor drone because it's actually pretty nice, a mobile thing for the engineer, which usually lacks. Quantum mortar, which I will be replacing with the support seeker drone, actually, in certain circumstances, and the beam turret. Now, the last thing I want to show you before we get on our way is bought a few duty officers as well to assign to ground and space. We have in space, I got one of those recharge time reduced on all transwarp abilities. That's pretty handy to have. It was very cheap too, so I highly recommend you get one. It was like 300 or 400k, so not that much. Also got someone to buff my gravity well, which I will be using. Chance to create an aftershock. So this gives you a total of about 75% chance, if I remember correctly, of your gravity well generating another gravity well during its duration, which is pretty cool. Whoops, I shouldn't have closed that. And on the ground, I got everything that I could get my hands on to enhance my engineering. So we have chance to beam in an additional turret, chance to beam in an additional support drone, chance to beam in an additional quantum mortar, which will be very nice on the ground. Alrighty. So without further ado, what a good joke for me. Also, got an extra 2 levels with all the farming that I was doing. Anyway, we are going to start missions. We are going to start some nice, lovely missions. Where did we leave off? We're going to start the Breen invasion questline, which will also lead us into the ferry ground Omega missions. And once we get access to those, I'm going to run them a little bit, because they give fleet marks. And with the power of fleet marks, we will be able to get even better gear. Okay, let's see. So first mission is Cold Call. I was quite impressed with the successful outcome of the recent trade negotiations at Starbase 39 Sierra, and I am pleased to invite the Federation to send an envoy to the Defera system for a more formal meeting. A more formal meeting? Oh shit. This could be a great opportunity for both of our peoples. The Federation has requested an alliance with us on several occasions, but my people's adherence to balance has prevented it. Now they are more open to the idea of ties with other worlds. Perhaps your visit will be the start of a lasting friendship between our peoples. Yep. Now, I would actually maybe recommend that you skip these missions if you are doing Star Trek Online just for playing an MMO, but they lead into the Deferi ground Omega missions, and I don't really want to leave out this story for this part. Okay, so we're gonna do this thing prior to doing the Deferi ground Omega missions, which are a reputation thingy. I would have access to it now, but I want to have the full story for you guys and gals on the YouTubes or on the Twitch if you're watching. Okay, now we need to get our asses in gear and fly over there. I've got quite a few new abilities from the Kobali set, as well as that particular console that I showed you, which will allow me to be the absolute best cruiser tank ever. Let's see, cold call. Can I actually warp over there? 35,000. Oh my god. Let's see, how far is it actually? It is here. That's where it is. It's connected to... It's a little bit far if we wanna leg it. Let's do that, and I'll talk about some more things while we're on the way though. Beta Ursae sector lock. Alright, so if you've been keeping an eye on my Twitter, which by the way I should really consider tweeting out that my stream has started. Whoopsies! Let me just do that real quick. If you've been keeping an eye on my Twitter and watching the stream regularly for STO, you will know that today I will be taking some names from chat if any of my regulars have the chance to show up, and I will be naming my bridge officers after people from chat. I really liked Hayden's initiative when he requested that I name one of my officers after him. Whoa, that's some really nice slowdown that's happening just for alt-tabbing to Twitter. Okay, so I'm going to continue that with some more officers. We're gonna have the full ground team to be renamed, and we're also going to have the bridge officer team tomorrow to be renamed. So let me tweet out this thingamajigger. Wow, Chrome, what the fuck are you doing, Chrome? I thought you were supposed to be sleek and streamlined. Streaming Star Trek Online at stream hashtags. There we go, easy enough. But for some reason Chrome, I don't know, like even Firefox seems to be just choking a little bit lately. Crashes a lot, Chrome slows down a lot. I think there is a theory I have regarding programming these days. I remember the times when I used to play stuff like Ultima 7 and Dune 2 and the old games, you know, on computers that had such shit specs that you wouldn't even believe it nowadays if you just got into computer gaming. And they looked okay, they had lower resolutions, granted, but they looked well, they ran well on those settings. Nice pathing, just sliding along the border of the edge of the map. Good job. And they looked about the exact same as some games do these days. I'm looking at you, Starbound, and games these days and programs these days, they lag for apparently no fucking reason, because the things that they are trying to do should be easy for the computer hardware of the power that we have these days. But the way that they are programmed with a lot of it's like you are building stuff out of pre-made parts. It's never going to be as good as something master crafted from scratch. So you're just building stuff out of plywood and prefabricated walls and then hoping it works. But if an earthquake hits, well, you're fucked. So that's kind of the way things are going today with programming, and it's kind of distressing for me because I am a computer sciences major and I wanted to get into programming, but I go to a workplace and the people there tell me, don't optimize your work. Don't optimize your work. I actually got berated for trying to optimize my work, if you can believe it. It's easy, like, it's easy to understand, okay, newbie? You're too newbie to optimize your own work. Someone who gets paid a lot more money than you do will go in there and optimize the project. If we get paid to do it. It's actually just easier to tell the client to get a better PC, to get a better server. And we can actually get him a good deal on that server too. Yeah. So that's the way, that's really distressing for me. If you have ever been wondering, hey, are PC games these days poorly optimized or what? They are. Software these days is intentionally poorly optimized. It kind of makes sense, but I'll get into that later if you really want to know. The homeworld of the peaceful Defera is a ringed M-class world with a population of approximately 3.8 billion. Deferi value the balance of being close to nature, and many will work in cities but have homes in nearby forests or mountain ranges. In the past 30 years, the Deferi have become concerned that their growing population is out of balance with the resources available in the world, on their world. They are increasing colonization of other systems in the region to rectify their population problem. Begin cold call. It only makes sense because when you have a large team, you need to build stuff out of, you need to work in a standardized way. So that everyone can get along with each other. That's why it makes sense. But for the consumer is going to get fucked. The consumer is going to get fucked. And that's the way programming is going these days. I completely forget what... Oh yeah, I started from Chrome and Firefox. So yeah, the more new programmers you put on a project, the less optimization you can put into it. Which means... requirements for certain games, I'm looking at you, Starbound, is just going to increase dramatically without any actual return. We have arrived at the Defera system, sir. Performing standard sensor sweeps now. Sir, some of this debris is only days old, but there have been no reports from the Deferi of accidents or combat in this area. I don't like the looks of this. I recommend that we proceed with caution. The Jeska is standing by for the approach to Defera, sir. Shall we begin our escort? Very well. Ambassador Sura, welcome to Defera. May you be blessed with balance. We appreciate the Federation's willingness to meet with us in these trying times. Alrighty. We will switch to maneuvering for now. Let's see how it goes. Odds are we will get ambushed, but let's pretend that we don't know that. I chose an Ambassador class refit, which is tier 5 for my ship. It's not necessarily better than the Sovereign class I had before, but it has a Lieutenant Commander Science Bridge Officer position, and I wanted to get that. Also, I really like the look of the Ambassador class, I'm gonna be honest. Sir, we're picking up an approaching warp signature, attempting to identify it now. And there are the Breen. Sir, the ship was running a subspace jammer, so we weren't able to get a lock on it before it warped out. I am, however, picking up a residual warp signature, and we might learn more from a detailed scan. Scan the warp particles. There is not enough here to get a lock on the warp trail, Captain. This ship is using jamming technology. I really do like the Ambassador class look more than I like the Sovereign even. The Galaxy probably still my favorite. Also, nearly forgot I've been watching a shit ton of Enterprise in the days between last stream and today. The Ferry Space Security. Greetings, Jessica Escort Ship Grotius. We are required to identify your credentials and verify you are in fact the correct ship prior to granting you access to the Fera. Please submit to a scan at this time. Understood. Do you require assistance? No assistance is required at this time, Grotius. Thank you for your cooperation. Our scans are complete. Please provide us with your clearance code before you establish orbit around the Fera. Our access code is 12345. Please open up the atmosphere shield. Thank you for the protection and escort. Your diligence and readiness does you credit. Oh my god. I screwed that up. Perhaps later we will be able to learn more about that strange ship. For now, let us discuss the possibility of trade and diplomacy between our peoples. My attaché will send you the planetary coordinates for transport. These coordinates will take you to one of our famous historical parks and preservation sites. I hope that you enjoy your visit to the Fera. When you are ready to talk, please meet me on the steps of the historic tower. It will be across the park, past the monument, when you arrive. Alrighty. Receive planetary coordinates from the Jessica. Are you ready to beam down? Yes, I am. I haven't actually equipped any new officers yet. We will do that later and name them as we go. And we'll probably keep Elisa Flores, because if you look at her traits, damn, she has 3 superior traits. And probably Tevrel also. Okay, let's go to the ground and see if the lovely people at Cryptic, speaking of bad code, have made my ground skills reset on my officers again. Alrighty. So, stations. Those seem like the proper skills there. Fire on my mark is not the proper skill. Overwatch 2, thank you. It's really weird, like sometimes it resets all the ground skills that I have changed from the defaults. Sometimes it only resets Hayden. Sometimes it only resets Tevrel. Sometimes it only resets Uzimat. Sometimes it resets 2 of them. Sometimes it also resets the space skills. Bruh. Yeah. And I also I obviously sent myself some money from my other characters in order to be able to do all these purchases. And some dilithium. The credits, of course, you have to earn yourself. Let's see. So, we're going to do support drone instead of mortar. And the support drone is really fun at Mark 1, very rare, because it gets a sniper attack, which is kind of cool. So, actually, let me show you. Chronoton Mine Barrier, 375.2 kinetic damage now. We have this one, Transphasic Bomb, 1.1k damage. We have the Turret Fabrication, 25 DPS. We have Drone Fabrication, 21 DPS, 43 DPS actually on the regular shots, which is pretty darn good, I have to say. And we have the Vodvar Anchor Drone, 41.6 physical damage per second as long as it is active. It is active for most of its duration, for most of its cooldown actually. There's only a 25-second window that it is not active, and the cooldown is still running. And we have the Support Drone with 31.7 DPS, which these are mobile. These three drones are mobile. The turret is easy enough to drop, and the explosives, of course, always love the explosives. And for the ground weapons, I have 131 DPS on the Vodvar gun, and I have 121 on my phaser. Also, I did a little bit of work on the traits. Got, of course, Bombardier, and I made a mix of space and ground traits that are really good. Usually I prefer to go all ground traits or all space traits, depending on what I'm doing. But since we're doing missions with mixed content, I decided to go for a mix right now. And I got a few lockbox traits as well, like Overcharging, Imminent Danger, Bombardier, of course. And the other ones are kind of basic stuff that you get. Okay. Let's see. I don't think there's anyone I can actually talk to right here. There aren't any NPCs I can really talk to. Stream looks okay. These guys seem to be glowing a little bit. I don't know what's up with that. Do you notice that on stream? Like, they seem to have a little bit of an aura around them, but only if I look at gray backgrounds. So if I look at the steps, they have an aura. If I just look at the countryside, they don't. Strange. Alright, let's speak to the ambassador. Welcome to the Fera, honored visitor. Tell me about the ferry. Oh, whoops. Honored visitor, this site is the oldest continually inhabited site on my world, and as such, we find it to be the ideal place to welcome visitors. We have an old culture steeped in tradition and respect for all beings. The makers taught us to taught us the concept of balance, and we strive for it in all things. For more than a century we have remained neutral in our dealings with other worlds, for where there is balance, so also there is truth. A bit idealistic, but okay. We are now looking to expand. Our population is growing to a point where we will put a strain on our world's resources. To correct this imbalance, a portion of our people have volunteered to seek new homes among the stars. This, of course, has put us into greater contacts with beings such as yourself, and we welcome the new ideas and technology that you have to offer. Perhaps by looking inward for so long, we have become out of balance with the galaxy as a whole. I look forward to your help in correcting this. Tell me about the ruins to the east of here. We believe that the site to the east of here was once used by the preservers, because we have located several artifacts that appear to correspond with their technology. Although we do not know for certain, it is our belief that the Deferi were one of the races seeded throughout the galaxy by the preservers. They, like us, revered balance and saw life as sacred. They went to great lengths to preserve all life. Can you explain more about balance? Everything must be in balance. When one side is dominant over the other, the inequity breeds resentment. The resentment leads to hatred and misunderstanding. On our world, there is equity in everything. All major decisions are made by polling the populace, so that a small group of leaders will not have power over the whole. By the way, with informational technology these days, I am surprised that we haven't yet started to do computer-assisted polling on more things. We still do the old paper and the ballot thing. I suppose it's more secure, honestly, but I really would like to see more computer-assisted voting for issues that affect... that's a little bit too political, maybe. Persons in what can be deemed leadership positions, like myself, serve at the pleasure of our people. If we abuse our positions, there will be imbalance and we will be removed. Star Trek. Star Trek. Such a nice... It's interesting, like, they have such a nice political background to the entire thing with Star Trek. So, Starfleet, excellent place to live. The very interesting ideals. And everything is just science and adventure. I guess that's why Star Trek appeals to a lot of people, doesn't it? Can you explain more about balance, or tell me more about the Preservers? The Preservers were an ancient race that died out eons ago, but made a great impact on the galaxy in their time. The Preservers would transplant members of races that were threatened by extinction to worlds where they could thrive. The planet Amerind was settled by them, and they brought ancient Terrans there to create a new community. For many years, scientists theorized that the Preservers were responsible for the spread of humanoids across the galaxy. We now know that the Preservers not only transplanted communities, but also created them. The Preservers believed they were alone in the galaxy. In the hopes of creating an ecosystem of races like themselves, they seeded their genetic material on other planets. In this way, they gave their children the companions that they never had. Sir, sensors from the Grotius are picking up Breen transporter signature. Get ready, sir, they could be hostile. Spoilers, they are hostile. Have some bombs. Trust me, you'll love them. Ah, missed one. One of these mortars. Interesting. Do my duty officers actually work on the things that my bridge officers do? Deploying phaser. Interesting. Double mortars from my own engineer. Triple, actually. Interesting. I didn't know that would happen. I thought those duty officer abilities only affected me. I was a bit curious if they would end up affecting my bridge officers too, but I always assumed, therefore making an ass out of you and me, that they didn't. Okay, let's do a little bit of work with drones here. Very nice. Clear the city, defeat the hostiles, and clear the ruins. Alrighty. Oh no, it's the Breen! There we go. Oh, yes, I did invest a little bit in weapons for my duty officers as well, bridge officer. I got polarized disruptor assault miniguns, though I really should have been looking at the phased polaron assault miniguns as well. These miniguns is this series of very rare miniguns, polarized disruptor assault miniguns with damage and knockback mods, are something that I have been using for a long time on a lot of my officers, and I rather enjoy them, so I kind of defaulted to them. Got one for each of my bridge officers. They're nice. They have knockback, they have damage resistance debuff possibility, some nice status chances, and of course the ever awesome secondary sweep attack, which I really like. Still haven't got the orbital chasing beam though, because I still haven't been able to locate any information as to if it's worth 12 million to have. It's surprisingly difficult to find any information as to what stats you get on the orbital chasing beam. I've tried the wiki, I've tried Google in general, I've tried my fleet mates as well. Nobody knows what the fuck kind of stats you get on an orbital chasing beam, so I'm not going to spend 12 million on the genetic resequencers until I know if it's worth it or not. So just gonna do orbital strike as normal until then. Okay, we need to go, oh my god, a long way away. Let's start running. Also got some manuals ready. I've got Overwatch 3, and I've got Nanite Health Monitor 2, and I've got Support Drone Fabrication 2 and Plasma ready to teach to the new officers when we put them in service later today. Hopefully they'll do a good job. Still need to pick out a tactical officer to be the main tank, but I think I have a good one picked out for the healing, and some decent ones for DPS. There we go. Well, someone is going to eat an orbital strike. It's really too bad that the procs on the extra turrets, extra drones and such are only 25%, but they do their job. So we have Thoughtwen. We broke through Federation defenses and attacked your homeworld. We ruined your fleets during the war. You should know better than to oppose us, Starfleet. We will wrest the Preserver's secrets from this place, and we will destroy anyone who attempts to stop us. Okay. Oh, no, shouldn't have. Fuck, I can't cancel it. Oh well. I think they expire pretty fast anyway, though, so maybe that wasn't all me being a little bit silly. Hey, have some bombs. I'm sure you're gonna love this transphasic bomb. Yeah. You loved it. Also, when we get the new officers into service, stuff like this hopefully shouldn't happen. Not now, please, Ambassador Sura. Stuff like this with the healer dying first, because I got a bridge officer with threat reduction to be the new healer, and superior creativity. So that should hopefully mean that our healer will get killed last, but we'll have to see. Incoming transmission. Ops. What does Ops have to say? Oh, okay. Let's see the incoming transmission first. Obviously, it is not safe for me to remain here, given the threat of further attacks. What now? I shall return to the Jeska for now, my friend. I believe I will be of best use there. Sir, there are more ships warping in. We need you and the away team back to the ship, sir. Prepare for emergency transport. I have to say I really enjoy the Engineer so far, though. Sir, the Breen are attacking the Jeska. We should intervene before they are overwhelmed. Well, shit. Okay. How about do some of this? I hope you like disco because it's a disco party. Well, the new Tetrion beams seem to be working out okay. Hello, Chapel. How are you today? Is it a built orbital strike you are looking for? No, I'm looking for orbital bombardment, which is a modification of that is on one of the lockboxes. The lockbox in question, though, costs about 12 million right now to get, so unless I actually know that the stats on it are good, I'm not going to spend that much money on it, obviously. Let's just turn around and give it some nice abilities, shall we? Like, we can do gravity, we can do acid, we can do tachyon beam as well. Orbital chasing beam and the associated trait, orbital devastation, which is in a lockbox. Your ship has dealt 1 million torpedo damage. How the fuck do I do torpedo damage? I have no idea because I don't have torpedoes, but okay, achievement tracker, if you insist. Sir, the Breen don't attack at random. I'd say that there is more going on here than the Deferi are telling us. We are being hailed by the Jeska, sir. Shall I put it on screen? Thank you for the assist, Grotius. We took some damage, but it's nothing that a few days in space talk won't fix. Shit. More water, please. There we go. My friend, I have not been completely honest with you. I fear my actions are out of balance with the universe. I think we should speak face to face. Do I have your permission to come aboard the USS Grotius? Permission granted. Let's see what's going on here. I don't remember having this room on board. I think, interestingly enough, if you're a Romulan officer, this part of the mission doesn't actually happen on board. They don't have a room for this, I don't think. At least I don't remember it being the case. Speak with Ambassador Sura. Hello. Honorable ally, I apologize for my secrecy, but at the time it was the best course of action. This is the first time that the Breen have attacked Defera. Their aggression has increased in recent weeks, and we have been unable to either stop them or open a diplomatic dialogue. The Federation has always promised to be our ally in a time of need. While we preferred to remain neutral in your conflicts, we have looked favorably upon the Federation's actions. You seek to maintain peace and stability throughout the Alpha Quadrant. Now we are in need of your help. The Breen are attacking our ships and colonies without provocation. Hundreds have already died, and I fear that more lives will be lost unless we have your assistance. My people face destruction. I cannot believe that the balance of the universe requires us to die. Chapel says orbital bombardment is the same as strike. I don't know, I think we're having a little bit of a misunderstanding here. Either I'm misunderstanding what Chapel is trying to say, or Chapel is misunderstanding what I'm trying to say. So there is a lockbox thing, a genetic resequencer pack ground ability, which gives engineers the orbital devastation trait, I believe, which morphs the orbital strike into orbital chasing beam. Now, that thing has a duration, and it also moves after targets. So I am curious to know if the duration, damage over duration is the same as the total damage of orbital strike, or if it's somehow enhanced in a way or another. Because if it's just that the orbital strike chases targets and the damage is the exact same, same skill. If the damage is the exact same, then I'm not going to spend 12 million on it. Definitely not going to spend 12 million and a trade slot together. Yeah, it does change the skill. It does transform the skill into orbital chasing beam. Yeah, the ferry, historical ruins. What could the Breen want at the ruins? The Breen could share our belief that the ruins are the remains of a preserver installation. The preservers were powerful. If the Breen gained access to their knowledge or technology, they might be able to use it to shift the balance of power in the quadrant. Our archaeologists have been studying those ruins for decades. If there is anything there that the Breen could use, we have not found it. Can you explain more about the balance? Everything must be in balance. When one side is dominant over the other, the inequity breeds resentment. The resentment leads to hatred and misunderstanding. Hatred leads to the dark side. On our world, there is equity in everything. All major decisions are made by polling the populace. So blah blah blah. We already know this. Preservers. We're done for today, Ambassador. Alrighty. Cold call is complete. Ambassador Sura has safely returned to the Jeskasar, and he requests that we contact him once we have left the system. We are ready to depart on your orders. Very well. Could be a little better, but it's good to have, says Chapel. Sorry, the automatic link deletion thing is still on. Sorry about that. I think Chapel was trying to post a helpful link. But if it's if your opinion of it is could be a little better, but it's good to have, I'm definitely not going to spend 12 million to get the trait. So, thank you for your assessment of the skill, though. Okay, let's see. Cold call. You are a friend to the ferry. We will speak again, and it is my fondest hope that you will be able to repair the balance and save my people from the Breen. Then we can have a long-lasting and peaceful alliance. We will speak again soon. We have cryo grenade, or we have polarized parabolic deflector, Mark 11. The cryo grenade consumed on use. Blarg. Let's take this for collection purposes. Probably not going to switch to it, but nice to have. Alright, we have aiding the ferry daily, which we will never ever do in ever. Because ever. Just because ever. Because it's boring. So next we'll do out in the cold.